What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's play Crash Bandicoot Part 3. We're beginning the Lost City, the first of two level themes that are exclusive to N.Tensity Island, or Wumpa Island, is for whatever reason it's called. Like I said in Part 2, it was referred to as N.Tensity Island back early on in the Crash Bandicoot series. You know, about the PS1 era, early PS2, I guess. Once Crash of the Titans and Crash Mighty Over Mutant, the two newest Crash games came out, I guess that's when they started to refer to it as Wumpa Island. But since I am only going to play the PS1 games, I will be referring to it as N.Tensity Island. But anyway, so you can see here we are in a sunken ruin that seems to be in the middle of a swamp, and some of the wonderful enemies that we will be dealing with are those bats. You do want to be careful here because there's an exclamation box right above this. You have to make sure that you hit the jump button on that bouncy box, so you will not be able to make it while you're in there, which will activate this box, which will let us get this Brio head right above us. You can get the life either way, so you don't have to worry about that being a problem or an issue. You do want to be careful though, because you will these bats, as you saw, there are two bats controlling the flow of them. You want to be careful because they are usually along a large gap like this between both bats, and then you add like the iguanas there that will get in the way if you're not careful. It's actually best if you go ahead and kill him before entering that little room. You can kill about, I think, 4 or 5 of those bats before you'll actually take damage if you start to spin into them quickly. And so you do want to do that. You want to be careful here and time this right with this iguana. You can actually just run across these pillars if you time it just right with the iguana, and that makes it a lot easier instead of waiting for the pattern to go along so that you can get across there. If you do get pushed off by those stone blocks, you will die, so you do want to be careful. That definitely makes it a lot harder. Well, I guess a little bit more challenging later on in the game, especially once you're going after you know, all of the if you're trying to go after the gym for this level, you know, later on in this level there will be some of those blocks that will push you out. You do definitely want to be very careful. And you can see here, this seems to be around sunset, but you can see Cortex Island in the background. Looks pretty far away just because of the position of the island we're on right now. But as I said in Part 2, once we get to the second level design like this, it will be a lot closer because we will be looking right at it, right at it. Now here you want to be careful because you have to jump with the you have to push the jump button once you jump on one of those TNTs, or you will not gain enough height to make it, and you'll just spin in. You'll just end up detonating it, spinning into the TNT, killing yourself, and making you lose the bonus round. It's not too difficult. This one's actually a lot easier than the first Brio bonus round, but you still have to be pretty careful while you're going through it. You really can't see Cortex Island too good right now, just because of the angle that we are right now, because of how low we are. You do want to be careful of those red iguanas. They will follow you, unlike the green ones. The green ones are usually tied to a certain path. The red ones will follow you until a certain point, then they will stop. Like right here, he'll jump across those two, both of those pillars, and he'll, I believe, go 2 jumps into where you are before he will stop. Oh wow! Okay, mistimed that one. Now, if you kill both of the controlling bats while the stream of bats are flying, they will turn into Wumpa fruit that you can collect. It's not really that useful because usually the bats are just a little bit out of reach just because of their height, and so it's not a really good strategy or anything to use. It's really up to you whether you want to use it or not. I don't suggest doing it, and I never have all that much, but you know, it may be useful. You know, I don't know. Now here you want to be very careful because of both of these iguanas and the bats. You can spin on top of the iguanas, but it's still, you still have to be very careful, because sometimes enemies like that you have to jump on instead of spin into. If you spin into the iguana's face or backsides, they will throw you, they will just send you flying in a different direction, so you do want to be very careful. Here, you want to be careful here, obviously, because if you miss time, you know, if you're not paying attention to how many times you bounce on these, you will end up falling into the hole, and you won't gain maximum Wumpa fruit from these boxes. Kind of like that. That was my fault. Thankfully, I can save here at the end of this level, because I will get the gem here. This is another level where you can get all of the boxes in one go. You don't have to come back here with a colored gem, thankfully. And you actually gain a colored gem here, so it's you know, pretty useful. Now here you obviously want to be careful because of the timing for those. They do open and close pretty fast, so you still want to be very careful. Regardless, but there you go. Not too difficult. I guess we don't gain quite as high as I thought we did in the second level like this. We will, though. We'll get to the high point in this level design, and you can see we get the green gem, which if we wanted to, and I'm not going to right now. I'll save all this for a different video after I beat the story, or I guess after I get to a point in the game when I've beaten all the other levels and I've gotten all the colored gems. I'll go back to all the levels that I need to get that require colored gems to get those gems, and I will use that, and I'll get all of those gems like that. But anyway, so you can see here right off the bat we have these spears that you know, you cannot jump over them or go underneath them, so you do want to be very careful about those. Just because this is dark, you know, there is no lighting puzzles or anything like that. You don't have to light anything up or have a light follow you around. It does kind of make it a little bit difficult because the draw distance, things will kind of appear out of the dark, such as platforms and different things. You can kind of see the shadows of some things. Now you want to be careful here, because if you break those boxes over there, you will not gain a what is it? I think it's a Tana token, so you want to be careful. Well, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't here, but it's actually pretty easy to jump on his head. Okay, so I guess this isn't the right snake. I guess I'm thinking about a different level. Oh wow! You do want to be careful here, because you can very easily overshoot on these moving platforms. Actually, a lot of these pillars and stuff you can actually overshoot if you're not careful. And if you rely on your shadow to kind of help tell you where you need to go, that's not a very good strategy, because you cannot see your shadow very well in this level. Only in these well lit sections like around here, so you do definitely want to be very careful while you are going through a section like this. It is pretty difficult, especially around here. You know, just be jumping around like that. I don't suggest doing that, just because you can very easily you know, overshoot a box and fly over the back of them. I just about did that. I somehow got caught on the barrier on the edge, and it's not that useful to do, really. So I do definitely suggest being careful. Now you can see here some of those fire things return from the Great Gate and Native Fortress, except these are not bouncy, so you cannot actually bounce on them to gain any extra height or anything like that. And these will crush you if you do get caught in them, so you do want to be careful. If you do have a mask with you, however, you will not be crushed by them, but you still want to be very careful regardless. Now you can see here this Wumpa fruit is kind of hanging over the air. If you want to get to it, all you have to do is just be very easy and just run across here, and this will be some hidden boxes, which will bring you to, not quite sure how many boxes were there, but as well as the ones here, which you can either spin on. You can either like get right here and spin them, or you can just jump across them like I did. I suggest pushing the jump button while you are jumping across them, just to make sure that you can get across to all three without actually having to stop or fall. You do want to be careful though, because it is actually pretty easy to fall off of that, fall off the bridge. If you're not careful, you may just touch the up or down directional buttons by mistake, and you can very easily fall. You can see the pillars here will actually collapse, but they will come back up after a certain point. But you do want to be careful that you're not on the pillars as they fall, or you will die, and especially at this point in the level, that's not a very good idea. And as you can see here, just more of these pillars. Thankfully, you really don't have to go out that far to make it. This one is really the only one that's difficult, just because it could throw off your timing for the outer ring of pillars. And these moving pillars up that are moving up and down here can actually be pretty difficult, just because you have to get the right height to be able to make it. If you're say if you're up too high, if the pillar's up too high, or if it's too low or it's not low enough, you can actually not make it onto the platform, and you will fall and you will die. So you want to be very careful, especially at this point in the level. It's right near the end. And if you notice there, this level did not have a ton of bonus round. Some levels will not have a ton of bonus rounds. Obviously the boulders and the the hog riding levels won't have them. But just some of these normal levels will not have a ton of bonus rounds either. So you do want to be careful deciding when to save and quit the game. Because you can actually mess yourself over pretty easily. Now, this will be the only time you'll see me do this. Now you can see the masks do kind of float there. You can actually spin them away. You do not want to have 3 masks on your face at this point in the game, or during this level. There's actually a life in there if you can get the timing down right. And I couldn't, you might think, okay, well, why don't you just save the mask and then go back and get it? Well, you couldn't have went back and got it, because you would have to have jumped across on these brown planks, and these brown planks will fall out from underneath you as soon as you touch them, and they will not come back up. So you want to be careful. The dark brown ones will hold your weight for about a second and a half. The broken ones, the lighter brown broken ones, will not hold your weight, however, and you will die immediately if you fall on them or fall through them. So you do want to be very careful. I mean, even if you just brush up against them, you'll fall and die. So you want to be very careful while going through there. Now this level is actually pretty generous for lives, and if you're good at this level and this level doesn't bother you, or if you actually like this level and you have to quit the game, or you just lose a whole bunch of lives, you can actually run through this level and get quite a few lives. You can get, I think, nearly 20 lives in this level, if I'm not mistaken. They could be close to 12 to 15, but they definitely do give you quite a lot of lives while through here. And you can see some of these planks have ice on them, which will make you slide, so you do want to be careful and always be paying attention while you're on those planks. The ice-covered ones, you can actually find yourself falling quite often while going through here. Let me see. And you have to be quick through here because of the TNTs, which will you don't actually have to jump there. You can just sit on it, and you don't have to do anything special. And there you go. That's the puzzle. There really is just the gaps, the 2 big gaps, and I guess the TNT bouncing, causing the metal crate to bounce on that bouncy arrow crate, which will get you over that gap. I guess that's really the puzzle there. Now this turtle, you do not want to kill him. You want to actually jump on his stomach to help you get across this big gap. You can tell, to make it a lot easier, you want to hit the jump button right as you jump on the turtle, just to help give yourself enough height. There's only 2 turtles in this level, but once we get to the second level design like this, and you can actually see Cortex Island there in the background. Forgot to mention that as well. But we won't see, the 2 turtles are not too difficult, but once we get to the second level design, they'll use that turtle mechanic a lot more, so you do definitely want to be very, get to learn, and with the turtles here, just because, it'll be a lot easier. For you can see here, another jungle design, similar to Rolling Stones, but, it's pretty much the second boulder level. This one is a lot harder than the original one, and you can actually find yourself, because you have to jump a lot more in this one, you can actually find yourself getting crushed by the boulder. And I don't know why. I don't think it is actually the case, but because there are no masks in this level, there's really no need for masks. You can bring them into the level if you have one. But I think the mask does slow you down, because I have went through these levels before, both boulders and Boulder Dash, and I've actually gotten crushed on sections where I wouldn't normally with a mask. Went back through that same section and made it. Well, thankfully I can't get all the lives here anyway, or get all the boxes here in one go anyway, so I need a color gem. But that just kind of stink. You do have to be careful with those moving platforms, though. And, I doubt it, it wouldn't be that bad of a mechanic, really, to have the mask slow you down, just because you don't really need it. But jumping really does slow you down, so you do want to be very careful about how you jump. And you can see there, I made it. I don't know why I died last time. I guess didn't have the timing down right, or something like that. I don't know. You want to be careful here, because you can actually start that boulder rolling if you get out too far ahead of the levels, and you do want to gain maximum Wumpa Fruit and all that. You do want to get the striped bouncy crate first before you activate the TNT, because if you activate the TNT, it will destroy both boxes, so you do want to be careful. It's not too difficult, really, outside of that. Just the wooden obstacles that can trip you up the fences, and those these weird pole things can trip you up. They won't kill you if you touch them, but they will slow you down significantly, and they'll increase your chances of getting crushed. Here is actually a very good area where you can get crushed if you're not careful, just because you're jumping, and as you saw there, the purple. Pinkish purple dot, which is the pinkish purple gem that we need before we can beat this. Before we can get all the boxes in that level. So it's not I'm not too worried about dying there. But here we go, Sunset Vista, arguably the hardest level in this game. There are actually 2 levels in this game where people will say they will argue which one is the hardest. This one, and a level which is in Cortex Island that I do not mind spoiling at all, which is called Slippery Climb. Both of these levels are very difficult. Personally, I find this level to be a little bit more difficult, just because it is the longest level in this entire game, and it has so many traps and things that can catch you out, that you have to be, in a lot of sections where you have to get the timing down just right, that you have to be just so careful while you are going through this level, that it is definitely a lot harder than Slippery Climb, in my opinion. This is actually the only level that I honestly have trouble getting all the boxes for, and getting the gym, getting all the boxes in one go. There is one section in particular later on in this level that can catch you out if you're not careful. just like a section like this. While the timing is not all that bad, there's a mask in here if you want it. At the end of the day, I would definitely suggest not going after it, but just because it is so easy to get back across there, because you can just jump across, you know, from the entrance to that little hidden hallway to, you know, back here. Something that I will say that is nice, that they drop the bats from the long stream they are in Lost City to what they are here in this level. You want to be careful. Oh, what the? Okay. That was odd. I shouldn't have hit the down button, but maybe I did. And that's kind of one of the reasons why not using the analog stick is nice, because you don't have to worry about flying off into the water. But even sometimes, you know, you'll still get caught out if you're using the directional buttons, and you'll still get sent into the water. But if you do die, you know, that's what you have to do to start. You have to start the level over again to be able to get the gem. Anyway, so you do want to be very, you want to be very careful. Oh crap! I shouldn't have went after those bats. I should have just stayed on the bottom. Now, one thing here, if you do die and you come back to the beginning of the level, you can actually go through the entire level again without actually quitting and then coming back into the level, which is very nice. But because the checkpoints are in the game, you have to, you have to be careful and always monitor that. If you do, yeah, that's what I should have done last time, and just not worried about the left bat. Okay, so I guess they just dropped the... What the... Oh. I destroyed that one thinking that I wasn't going to have to worry about the bats anymore. I guess in certain sections the bats are small, like you can see there. There's about 5 or 6 bats, but in that other section there's about 5. There are actually 5 bats there, but in that other section back there, there was close to 10 bats, I think. Come on. Yeah, this level is a pain in the butt. I'll definitely give it that. It's and it's not really filled with cheap deaths like that. You know, I should have paid a little bit more attention to where I was jumping and the timing in which I needed to jump and spin. And so it was really my fault why I had died there. But it can, you know, especially after you die a whole bunch of times, you can see that this level is giving you just cheap deaths. And so, you know, you don't want to get into that mentality, because if you get frustrated because you continuously die over and over, and you start blaming the game and say, oh, well, you know, you're just giving me cheap deaths, you'll become more and more frustrated, and you will get to a point where you will keep dying in sections where you never would have, or that you shouldn't have died at. So you do want to be very careful about that. But anyway, so you can see just you know, the life boxes are gone, and that's because I have already got them once without, you know, I haven't quit the game. I just come back into the level, and so that just kind of shows off what the boxes will turn into. They will turn into those question mark boxes, which will give you small amounts of Wumpa fruit that really aren't worth it, and they don't really help you gain another life. It would have been nice to have another life. Oh, another life instead of the tiny amount of Wumpa fruit that you actually get. But you know, it's what it is. You know, it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wait for the pattern here. Ooh, I want to be careful. Here's another pattern where you have to be careful, because you do not want to jump there. You want to jump about right then. And yeah, so that's just the we've now beaten the lower section. There's actually 3 sections to this level. Lower, like in Lost City, middle section like in Lost City, but then there's an upper section, which is the highest point for this level design, where you can actually see Cortex Island a lot better and a lot more detailed, because you can see the blimp, Cortex's blimp, and you can see it anchored to the top of his castle, and just a little bit more of the castle, a little bit more of a shape that's a lot more detailed. You know, I mean, it's not going to be, you won't actually be able to see the castle windows or anything like that, you know, nothing crazy like that, but it is definitely pretty cool, detail-wise. Alright, so here's another difficult section. You have to time everything just right. You want to wait until the lower platforms come out of the wall, like they are now, before jumping across here. And you want to be careful here, because you can actually very easily fall and die there. This is another section you do not want the mask in, so I will go ahead and just spin that away. You have to be slow and careful. The mask on your face will increase your running and jumping, and you can see the bats being turned into Wumpa Fruit there. But the mask will increase your running speed and your jumping speed, and through this section in the game, your actions have to be very slow and precise, so you do not want the mask on your face through this section. It's not really that hard to get used to or to control, but I just find it a lot easier not to use. Oh crap! Oh shoot! Wow. Okay. That could have actually turned out to be pretty bad, because if you fall here, you run the risk of falling down that hole at the very bottom section. So you want to be very careful. And I guess that lower section that I just went through is actually kind of an intermediate point. It's not really the mid section like here. You know the middle height. It's kind of a it's pretty much that gap in between the low section and the mid section. You know, where you can see the bottom of Cortex Island and a few of its features about the castle. And now, if you have noticed, with spinning or jumping onto multiple enemies in a row, you can actually gain a Wumpa Fruit bonus from doing that. The bats do allow you to do that to a degree, but just because there are so many bats that you have to deal with, it's not really that useful. It's really a lot more useful if you want to time this just right, or you won't be able to get the Cortex head there, and you won't be able to go to the Cortex bonus round, which will you really don't want the mask through here. Again, you want your movements pretty precise, especially for this section. I'm going to go ahead and let it die out here, because you really want your movements to be pretty precise. You have to be very precise while going through this section, because if you miss it, okay, so you have to jump on that. You know, a lot of this game, especially in this level, is actually just sitting there waiting and seeing what the patterns and the right timing for everything is, and that's actually a very good idea and way to do it. Now this is a pain. You have to jump over here to get this one box, which will bring you to the Cortex bonus round. And the Cortex bonus round, you want to make sure that you beat it in one go, because you do not want to have to go back through here. Similar to the Brio bonus round, at least for this TNT section, you have to jump and spin into these boxes. You want to make sure that you have enough height to be able to make it, or you will not. Or you may run the risk of spinning into the TNT, blowing yourself up, and then losing the bonus round. You can save after a Cortex bonus round, but it's kind of the same as the Tana saving. If you don't get the gem here and then you quit the level, you will still have to run through Sunset Vista again. I'm not sure. You may have to run through Boulder Dash again. I doubt it, though. You'd probably just have to run through Sunset Vista again, and then that's never fun. Okay, now here what you have to do is you have to walk off onto these wow, rotating platforms. But you have to time it just right. You cannot actually, you cannot fall in between the platforms and the wall, thankfully, but you still want to time it just right so that you fall and you land on it. You don't, you don't walk off too soon and then die, or you don't walk off too late and then fail to make it up there. Now the puzzle here is you have to run once you land on that TNT, or you will not make it. It's actually pretty easy. It's not that difficult. Really, all it is just you have to time it just right, and then just run pretty much. And if you jump on the right TNT, you'll have no problem getting across. But that also runs the risk of, if you have a problem, if you just look away or you don't pay attention, you can actually make the other two TNTs blow up quicker. And if the only thing you would do is if you just get the timing terribly wrong and you're on top of a TNT when it blows up, or oh crap, or if it it may kill you and make you take damage. And I can see those rotating platforms are sped up there, so that's why it was kind of hard to get to it. Now, if you fall down here, you will die, and that's that TNT is that checkpoint is kind of the mark, which tells you, okay, so if you fall from here, you will die, so you want to be careful. And then that's where he'll stop jumping. You want to wait until he's not jumping anymore. And there you go. You can see Cortex Island. You can see the blimp, the top of the castle. It's actually pretty detailed, and it is a lot closer than it was in Lost City. It may not look like it, but it is. And it's just it's actually very well detailed. The bottom down there, the bottom of the swamp, the ruins, everything is very, very detailed and very beautiful. The art design, especially for a game like this, it's very, very beautiful. But there we go, the hardest gym in the game done, thankfully. And the longest level in the game done, thankfully. I'm happy about that. But anyway, so I will be doing the Koala Kong boss fight, which will be the 5th level. And depending on what I want to do, because I'll show off what the keys do. There are 2 keys in this game that will unlock 2 hidden levels. That's why there are 32 levels in the game. There are 30 regularly if you don't count the... Oh, shoot. I forgot about the timing for that. Or I forgot about that TNT falling there. There are 32 levels that are not hidden, and then the 2 that are hidden that require the keys. And you can see what Koala Kong will do here is he will throw these rocks at you. You have to watch out for the TNTs that are being dropped on your head as well. Kong is actually the first boss to have more than 3 hits. He does have 4. And those minecarts can get in your way. You do want to be careful, but you don't want to wait too long, because the final rock that he throws that you have to spin back at him will actually roll off into the lava. Oh, crap. And you will not be able to get to it, so you do want to be very careful. Now, that final TNT at the end can screw you up sometimes, because it will, you'll be stuck on the, stuck waiting for the TNT to blow up. Here is where it really messes you up a little bit more. And yeah, it's not too difficult of a boss fight. The biggest thing is just the minecarts. Those are the really problem things, especially if you get double minecarts going across. Those can block Kong from getting hit by the final rock, which can mess you up. But here we are in Castle Machinery. I would like to go back to N.Tensity Island really quickly, and I'll show off what the hidden level is. Whole Hog, you can see it's kind of stuck off right up against the base of the mountain, right on the back of Sunset Vista. And I will do Whole Hog just to go ahead and get it done and over with, just so I can save not have to worry about having to replay Sunset Vista. Once I quit recording. Now you can see here, there's a lot more spiked logs that are through here, and that the reason is just because this is N.Tensity Island. This is the only native tribe here. And because of that, there are so many dangerous things, especially being right up against Sunset Vista. They have to have a lot more defenses, such as all the spiked logs and everything like that. Now, the natives here can be the timing and the patterns for them actually can be pretty difficult to learn. That's why I did end up dying there, because I figured the native would end up going to the would end up going to the left again, and that is kind of weird. As long as you don't run head first into the native, you will not actually take damage. You can actually come pretty close to them, and you will not take damage from them. Now, that is a section where you have to be pretty precise with when and where you hit those boxes, or you can actually end up missing them, and you'll have to restart the entire level over again. It's not that difficult, it's not that long, but just because of the natives' timing on all of the pits, the drums, the spiked logs, all that, it can actually be pretty difficult. But not too bad, it's actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a lot longer than that. But anyway, so I will go ahead and talk about trivia for all the levels. We'll start with the Lost City. I'll go ahead and head to Cortex Island here really quickly. The Lost City is a level in Crash Bandicoot. It includes enemies such as bats and lizards that jump around, as well as moving walls that push the player into the water. It serves as a prelude to the later stage Sunset Vista. Clearing this level will reward the player with the green gem. Number of crates, 26. Green gem is the gem type is green. Bonus rounds are the embryo and the tana, and the enemies are the iguanas, bats, lizards, flame pads, and the pillar, the blocks that come out of the wall. All right. Level design. The Lost City seems to be in a humid, swampy area of the island, hence the stones being covered in moss and the attraction of reptilian amphibious life. The ruins may not even be abandoned at all due to the fire still being lit and the continuous operation of the traps and obstacles throughout the level, which gives an eerie feel to the level, along with the haunting music accompanying the creepiness of the level. Trivia. Several real-world locations are referred to as lost cities as well, perhaps most notably the famous lost city of Atlantis, said to have sunk into the ocean in a single day and night of misfortune. Due to this undersea association, contemporary fantasy portrayals of Atlantis sometimes involve mermaids or reverse mermaids, also tying into Cortex's well-known Animal Crossing schemes surprisingly well. This is the first level to feature a colored gem. Yeah, a lot of this trivia doesn't really make sense once you think about it, but, Alright. Temple Ruins is a level in the first, in Crash Bandicoot. This place is dark with many tricky death traps, such as snakes, spiders, and bats trying to stop Crash in this level. In the United States and European version of the game, this level does not have Tana bonus rounds. However, in the Japanese version, it does, by replacing some of the question mark crates contents with Tana icons and adds a new question mark crate at the end of the level. This bonus round is not taken from any other levels. Number of crates 63, gem type clear, and bonus rounds are Tana. No level trivia for this level, so nothing I can really do about that. Enemy types, however, are bats, flames, lizards, and sliding pillars. Oh no, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong thing. That was actually the for Lost City. For Temple Ruins is bats, closing pillar, flame, snake, spear, and spider. Okay, for Road to Nowhere, the enemies are the hog and the turtle. Uh, Road to Nowhere is the 14th level in Crash Bandicoot. It involves Crash running along several very old collapsing bridges with several planks that fall when he walks on them, casting him into the spiked filled abyss below. This level is preceded by Boulder Dash. Number of crates 33, gym type clear, bonus round Tana, and I already talked about the enemies. Level design: the entire level takes place on an old abandoned bridge and is overlooking a deep chasm filled with pointed rock-like structures protruding from the bottom of the chasm. At the bottom of the level, there is a giant. I'm sorry. At the beginning of the level, there is a giant danger sign, possibly warning individuals of the hazards of the bridge. The whole level is shrouded with a heavy fog, making it hard for an individual to see ahead. The bridge itself is worn out and falling apart in certain places. Certain planks on the bridge will collapse under one's feet if they stand that place for too long. Likewise, there are various forms of wildlife roaming the bridge, including wild hogs and turtles. The bridge is also supported by large stone pillars with the letter C engraved on each of the pillars, possibly referring to Dr. Cortex. Crash must cross the bridge in order to progress on in N.Tensity Island. Since the entire bridge is shrouded in a heavy fog, Crash must take extreme caution proceeding the bridge. Since the bridge is old and worn out, many of the planks underneath his feet will begin to fall. Likewise, there are also many gaps he must jump over while crossing the bridge. While running across the bridge, he must look out for wild hogs. The hogs will run back and forth along the bridge and cannot be defeated by any of Crash's moves. It is better for him to avoid the hogs as they can be jumped over easily. Crash will come across turtles and turtle shells along the bridge, which he must use to jump over the even wider chasms. Trivia: curiously, Crash is attacked by the hog in this stage, despite the fact that the two are allies in the levels Hog, Wild, and Whole Hog. Crash can jump onto the ropes and can walk on them. That is actually very difficult to do. That's why I did not mention it, because I cannot do it very easily. I used to back when I was younger, but I quit doing that just because I found the level a lot easier to do normally. And it's actually very difficult to actually get onto the ropes. And once you get on the ropes, you have to jump off to continue going through the level. So that's why I didn't do it. The name of this level is a humorous reference to the song of the same name by the band Talking Heads. But yeah, that rope thing is not a really good idea or a sound strategy, so I suggest just going through the level normally. Okay, so Boulder Dash is the 15th level in Crash Bandicoot, and the second of two levels in which Crash is chased by Boulder, very similar to the iconic scene in Indiana Jones, The Raiders of the Lost Ark. The purple gem is required to fully clear this level. Number crates 35, gym type clear. There are no bonus rounds, and the enemies are the boulder pretty much in the holes. Trivia: at the end of the secret path. Okay, I'll spoil that. The level's name is a play on Balder Dash, another word for nonsense. But yeah, there are actually some enemies in that hidden path that I'll talk about later on. And we'll go to Whole Hog. Enemies are the shield native and spiked pillars, and I guess the drums if you want to look at that. Alright, Whole Hog is one of the two secret levels and the 32nd level in the original Crash Bandicoot game, serving as the second and last hog riding level. This is a secret level, only being unlocked after obtaining a key from the Cortex bonus round in Sunset Vista. Whole Hog is very similar to the Hog Wild. The only major differences being that jumps are longer than before, and spiked pillars cause more of a problem, making the level more challenging. Jumps also require perfect timing. This level's name refers to the phrase whole hog, which means the entire amount, the full extent, or committed without restraint. And that serves as the trivia for this level. A number of crates 24. The gym type clear. There are no bonus rounds, and the enemies, as I said, were are two shield natives and the spiked pole. Alright, so we'll go to Sunset Vista. Bats, flame, lizard, and iguanas. And then the blocks are the things for here. Sunset Vista is the 16th level in Crash. It is very similar to but more difficult than an early level of the Lost City. This level has both a Tana and Cortex challenge bonus round with the key to the level whole hog. Fans say this is the hardest level because it is the longest level in the game, although the prototype Sunset Vista happened to be longer and harder compared to the final Sunset Vista, beating both forms of Stormy Ascent in difficulty, which was a cut level in the game because it was just too difficult. It's a trivia for the first Sunset Vista. This is one of the longest levels in the game, the longest I think, but maybe I guess they count Stormy Ascent, but you can't play Stormy Ascent because Naughty Dog actually cut it from the game because it was supposed to be here on N.Tensity Island about halfway through, and you couldn't actually continue on. It was so difficult that Naughty Dog thought, well, you know, nobody would be able to beat Stormy Ascent, and you couldn't continue on through the game, so they just cut it completely, changed the level designs around, and the level layout for the game, and it is the way it is now. And I'll talk about that one during the wrap-up video. But the Koala Kong boss fight. This boss fight is on N.Tensity Island in a volcano mine, and Koala Kong is the third boss of the game. It starts with him showing Crash his muscles, and then he jumps to the left and starts throwing 3 rocks at Crash. So he's across a lava river and behind a mine cart track, but it is still operational as mine carts pass, blocking Kong. Kong has 4 hit points rather than the past bosses Papu, Papu, and Ripperoo, who had 3. When Kong picks up a 4th rock, he'll walk very slowly and throw it at Crash. It stops in front of him, and if he spins it back, it'll hit Kong and take one of his hit points away. The TNT crates start dropping from above. One of his crashes, Kong's health goes down. There will be more mine carts passing. When Crash spins the final rocket Kong, he'll fall on his back, and Crash can move on to Cortex Island. After Kong is defeated, no more mine carts will go past. A good thing to keep in mind is in this boss fight, TNT crates only fall in the middle of the area Crash can stand on. Trivia: this is the only lava area in the game. This is the only game where Kong is a boss. So there you go. But anyway, that's all the trivia for all the levels that I've did. So I thank you for watching. The challenge of the video is how many of those little stone squares that I jump on in both Lost City and Sunset Vista in the entire video. Thank you for watching. We will begin Cortex Island in part 2, so until then, or I guess part 4, so until then, later everyone.